guys. Welcome back to the What's Next podcast, coming to you from Live Well Studios right here in beautiful Monterey, California. It's a beautiful day today, sunshine, got a day off, goofing off. Today we've got an amazing guest with us, and her name is Miss Marisela Cerda. I've known Marisela for well over 10 years through 3 different locations I've had. So we are actually become good friends. We have, and her husband and my lady, and we've gone out to different things, so we know each other pretty well. So how the heck are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
You good?
Yeah.
Did you work today?
I did work today.
You did, yeah. So Miss Marisela is a teacher in Salinas, and I believe you're at 4th grade.
No, they're 7th grade.
Oh, you're doing the 7th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez.
Middle school. I've never taught elementary school, actually.
A little mouth, you're at 7th grade.
I've taught middle school and high school students.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
High school, too?
Yeah.
How was that?
Let's just say they're more behaved than the middle schoolers.
Yeah, right. Just a skosh.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Salinas. Yeah.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a lot of family there?
It's myself, my sister, and then that's it. Her kids and her husband.
Yeah.
We were born and raised there. My brother lives in San Diego. My other sister lives in San Jose. They're all spread out now that I think about it.
Really all spread out?
I have another sister in Sacramento, another one in San Francisco.
But all in California?
We're all in California.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I know you vacation down in Mexico. Do you have family down there?
I do.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. In fact, I go and visit them a lot. That's where my dad is
your dad
from.
is. Yeah, right.
So, he's passed on, but
okay.
My uncles and my aunts, all his brothers and sisters, I still go and visit them
nice.
I want to say every 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it gets cold up here.
Well, yeah. It's hot over there.
It's too hot over there to go in the summertime. It's crazy.
I go in the summer when I have vacation time, and it is hot.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
You still have a house down there? Is there like a family residence still? Or?
Well, Carlos has a house out there,
he does,
my husband, and not me personally, but when I go and visit my family, I stay with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have plenty of room.
Sure, right. Yeah, yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Only 3 years, huh? I thought you did it more often than that.
I wish I
wish.
Yeah. I should.
I know, right? Get
I
away
should.
For a month. You get summers off, so
that's
that
works
nice.
out. And 3 weeks in December.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yes,
right.
our winter break.
The Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
We used to get like a week or 2 off back when we were kids.
Oh,
I think get 3 weeks now.
Now we have 3.
We get gypped.
Well, the teachers are not good.
I know, right?
The teachers love that.
Yeah. That's true, right?
Well, yeah. More vacation time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you get started doing teaching? Did you go to school for it, or?
Yes.
Clearly, I mean, you had to get certified.
Yes. So 2002, I completed my coursework. You got to go to a special teaching school.
Sure, right?
Yeah. So you get a credential, and yeah, I did that in a year. Mm-hmm.
So you've been doing it over 20 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And you've taught just the middle school, the 7th graders?
The middle school. I started out at the high school.
I'm trying to remember back in 7th grade. That was a long time ago. But.
7th grade. Right. How were you in 7th grade?
I was terrible.
Okay.
Like, when's this guy going on to 9th grade? Get him out of here.
Like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some of those kids.
I'm sure. Times are different, though.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Some of the differences. Tell me about some of the differences nowadays.
Well, you know what? I was just talking about that with my coworker today. We've been working same amount of time, more or less.
Oh, yeah.
And students now, they're a lot more verbal with their opinions about anything, really.
Yeah, right.
They weren't as much before. They were, I don't want to say, well, I'm not sure if it's a respect thing. I think just with social media and watching more than before and be involved digitally on the internet and all these things, I think they're more how can I say, open with the things that they want to say.
I see.
Right? They don't hold back as much as they used to.
Huh.
And sometimes they might say something that they think is okay,
but
is actually inappropriate.
Right.
They're like, okay, you actually don't say that.
Yeah, right.
It's not socially acceptable.
Yeah, exactly. I heard it on the internet, right? Yeah.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking
about. Yeah.
Well, you just like anyone else, you got to correct them.
Yeah.
and just teach them. They're middle schoolers.
Sure.
They're still learning.
Yeah. Right.
They're not
Just a little more emboldened.
Yeah. So I that's what we were talking about today, actually.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
We certainly had some knuckleheads, back then, but we were a little more respectful. I think, of course, I don't know how they are now, but, I remember the principal calling and asking, "Is it all right if we spank your older, your son?"
Really? Wow.
Yeah, right. That was,
We cannot do that anymore.
They got the paddle off the wall and they whooped his butt.
Wow, that's interesting.
They had to call Dad first and get their okay.
Wow, wait, how old are you?
I'm 38, right? Give or take a couple decades. But.
That wouldn't fly nowadays.
No, heck no.
No.
Right. So it has changed.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Right. I always hear that, when we were kids and the teacher or the principal called home, oh, man, you caught it from the parents. But nowadays it's more the parents calling like, "What's wrong with that teacher?"
Yes.
That's what I hear, but I don't know. Is that kind of true? Or?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe not in every situation.
Right. Sure.
But for sure, the parents side with the child.
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah.
And question us.
Right.
A lot more.
Yeah.
Than before.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And I'm not sure exactly what the reason for that is, but
yeah. You have to walk a little more on eggshells.
Well, I think we just go with the flow, and knowing that, in the back of our heads.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just be careful what you say, and
yes.
Be a little more,
Yeah. I think if we're just being ourselves anyway, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Right.
I was talking to another coworker today. Last year, one of our teachers, had a meeting with a parent. The same situation with the child who was misbehaving in the class or not doing their work or something.
Yeah.
Meets with the parents, and the parents accuse him of being racist. So that's a lot more common now, too, is the use of that word.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not sure why that is.
Yeah, right.
I could guess, but it's a society thing, right? And
it's a society thing, yeah.
And interesting, we didn't have that issue before,
Right.
I had never heard, like, "Oh, yeah, you're being racist 10 years ago."
Clear was like a white teacher? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You always got that card to play, I guess.
I guess nowadays. So,
Right.
But again,
look
if you're
at
not
what I'm
actually
doing for a living, would a racist do this? Exactly. For real?
Really?
Especially in Salinas.
They wouldn't last long.
No, they wouldn't last very long.
No, not at all.
That's just silly. So tell me about the day-to-day. Now, I know you, what all, I was thinking you were doing the fourth grade thing, so I was thinking more learning curriculums and activities and that kind of thing. So take me up to seventh grade. What's kind of the curriculum for that age?
Well, the big difference between elementary school and middle school or junior high is taking a lot more classes. So in elementary school, the students have the one teacher, maybe two if they're going to a reading class or something like this, right? But in the middle school, junior high, high schools, they've got 6 teachers.
That's right.
So
I forgot about that.
They've got English and math and science and PE, all with different teachers.
I see.
So that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Our 7th graders at the beginning of the year, I think, struggle a little bit with that because it's a drastic change.
For sure.
The number of people, the number of adults they have to,
right,
deal with and learn.
Yeah.
So then the subjects are separated, and I teach science. And in a science class, for me, it's usually setting up some sort of lab. Okay, we're going to do this experiment today, setting that up, usually the day before. I don't do it the day of. Setting that up for the students, making sure that they are, behaving themselves, working in groups. That's a big thing now in education.
Okay.
Having students work in groups, being able to talk to each other.
That's
and so you got to structure that. Yeah.
That's a great thing.
Sometimes Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if they were doing that before. I think before, when you were taught, it was just a teacher telling you something and you do your own work, right?
Right.
And now we don't do that. We might say something, introduce something and information, but for the most part, okay, now it's time to talk to your partner about it. In a science class, now it's time to do something, let's work on this activity in the group. And so you got to structure their conversation. They don't know how to speak sometimes. You ask them questions. Okay, work with your partner. Ask your partner blank, right? A lot of times, 7th graders, they just stare at each other and they don't know what to say. I don't know. So I told a teacher, you got to write a script for them. Almost write a script for them. They just fill in the blank a little. And that way it forces them to talk. And yeah, so that's, I guess that's another positive change in education.
For sure.
Is it's not lecture style. For sure. It shouldn't be, at least. I know some teachers still do that, but it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah. I remember 8th grade earth science with Mr. Pervins. Yeah, it's a long time ago, back in the dark ages.
You remember, though?
I know, I remember. It's a great guy, because it was such an interesting class. For somebody like me,
Nice.
trees and dirt and worms and, lightning and, all that stuff is just so cool. We had the high top desks with maybe 3 people at each one, and we
Stools.
had a little sink. We had a little the Bunsen burner hookups over there, so the 3 of us would get together. So maybe that's kind of like what you're doing now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
At your tabletop, the 3 of you would be able to work on it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Well, notice you remember your science class.
I do. Science and math, I loved.
Yeah, that's
English,
good.
couldn't do it. My mom was an English teacher.
Oh,
so.
Maybe it was a subconscious.
I know it was, right?
You're like, no, I don't want to do
I
this.
know. I's and we's and me's and I don't know.
Capital letters.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Did you always teach science, or did you ever skip around, or?
I taught some math for a little while when I first started teaching, but no, always the sciences, chemistry, physics. In middle school, it's life science, basically biology.
Yeah, is it?
But my degree is, when you get a university degree, a bachelor's degree, you have to take all the sciences if you're a science major.
Okay.
Even if your focus is, like in my case, biology.
Okay. So what's life science and biology? Break that down. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so biology is the study of living things.
Okay.
So, how plants grow and perhaps how the seasons might affect the organisms, whether it's a plant or an animal. Fungi, microbiology, so the study of fungi and viruses, and which would be virology.
Sure.
But all of these things that are living, and whatever else might affect the living, the sun and the air.
Right. It's kind of an earth science, but
yeah,
plus.
Yeah. The earth science definitely comes into play when we talk about fossils.
I see.
And in earth science, you might learn about the rock cycle. And so in biology, we teach about fossils and evolution, and so we have to cover a little bit of earth science because they need to know which rock layers they might find fossils in.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's in the end they all blend. All the sciences end up blending together.
Yeah. Right. How fun.
Yeah, I like it.
So tell me about Carlos a little bit. I know he's working. He does the sound, or what does he do? I've talked to him a few times, but he seems to be wearing a different hat every time he goes to work.
I know, he likes doing different things,
does
doesn't
everything.
he? So he's a medical assistant at a rehab center.
I see. Okay.
Yes. But he does DJ, and so he knows a lot about sound and music and how to put things together.
Yeah, right.
He composes his own music, so that's his side gig.
Yeah.
But he is.
Oh, he composes his own music.
Yes.
Oh, how cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to a concert, the 4 of us, pretty soon.
Yeah. Yacht
Drop
yacht
it
rock.
like it's yacht or yacht rock or something, right? It's a blast.
I know. I discovered that when you told me about it last year.
Yeah,
like,
the
what
Yachtly
the heck
crew.
Is yacht rock?
Yeah, the Yachtly crew, and then there was another one that the Catalyst, or what's a Cow Palace, or I don't know, where is it going to be?
Yeah, well, this one in March will be at the Catalyst.
Catalyst, yeah, right.
So that should be interesting.
Go out to dinner and hang out.
Yeah, sure.
Right. What'd your dad do for a living?
He worked in the fields.
Did he?
Yeah, he would pick celery. And I say that because he would come home smelling of celery. Yeah. And bring celery home.
Right. There's no shortage of celery.
No.
Did he come up to America, or he was always down there?
Yes, he was the only one in his family that came.
Yeah.
That came here to the United States. Brothers and sisters all stayed. Yeah, he was the only one. He was the only brave one, I guess.
Really?
Well, that, he wanted to make more money. And...
So he came before you guys? Or
did he
come back after you guys moved here?
No. He moved here when he was 17.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, he left home. And
sure.
Oh, yeah, way before we were born. Learned English.
Oh, I see, right.
Like, he did all of that. In fact, he worked in the South. He used to tell me that he would pick cotton. Before he spoke English, he'd pick cotton in Texas. And he said that he worked with a lot of African American people. Yeah. And so that was his first experience, not knowing any English. And they kept telling him, you got to learn English, because he couldn't communicate. Right. And eventually he did. Eventually he did. So, and then he moved to California. And he met my mom, and she was from, close to where he was from in Mexico, and yeah.
Oh, right, common bond, sure.
Yes,
common area.
Yes, they both came over they started having kids.
Yeah, right.
Then we came.
Once you got to California, yeah, perfect. And then he went back, or
no,
he stayed here
never
until.
Went back.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, I mean, he would go and visit his mom.
Sure.
Yeah. Every few years he'd go and visit his mom.
Yeah. Right. It's beautiful down there. I've only been across the border to like Tijuana and checked across. It's like I've never really traveled through Mexico or anything.
Yeah,
like
Tijuana
that.
and those border towns are very unique.
Right.
Like a border town is a border town, but if you go to Guadalajara, for example, or Mexico City or somewhere else, it's not the same vibe.
Oh, okay.
The vibe is different.
Yeah.
I think at the border towns, people are hustling a lot more.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, hustling a lot more. People on the streets asking for money, like this kind of thing. It's a different culture.
Yeah.
But if you go deeper, and you won't see that very much.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
even the cab drivers are like, don't carry your bag over your shoulder because people cut the hole in it from when they're standing behind you and take your stuff out of it.
Wow, that's true.
And I got back to the car and there was like cuts on the back of my bag. I was
really?
Like, I'll be dipped.
Wow.
That is what happened.
Oh, dang.
Didn't even feel them,
Yeah, no, they're so good at it.
But I got all kinds of really cool silver jewelry for my daughters and,
And what happened? You didn't come back with it?
No, they didn't get it. They didn't get it, right? But it was right there.
Interesting.
Fortunately, it was double bagged, But
well, like I said, they're hustling.
Right. But we went to a restaurant, and I don't drink. My cousin ordered some beers, and they brought him like 6 beers on ice and food, and it was like $3.50 or something. I was like, how's that even possible?
Oh yeah, I wonder what it is now. When was that?
Oh, that was probably 15 years ago. Or
something. The exchange rate. I wonder what it is now, but it's similar. You could take, I don't know what, $500 and you might not even spend it all.
Really?
It's
go down and live for a month.
Yeah.
Right. $500, right?
I mean, $500 on a vacation here wouldn't last very much, but over there, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, go over there.
Not to the tourist places, but
Well, there's a lot of those too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All my friends always go down to the, I don't remember the name of the cities. The big tourist towns, and it's like. But you don't want to get too far away from there either.
Well, yeah,
because then it can be kind of scary.
Yeah, I guess so. If you don't speak Spanish.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't want.
Right.
You never know.
Yeah. My friend's a doctor, and he says when he goes down to visit his mom, he wears all ripped up jeans and a racked up old hat, so he doesn't get
play
kidnapped.
The part.
Right, exactly, right. Just
you don't want to take your gold watch over there.
Exactly.
Someone be like, this American here, I'm about to take his watch.
Right, I know. I think that's what would worry me the most. I don't speak the language.
Oh.
Yeah. I just, I've gotten a couple of those Spanish apps and tried to work through them. I think my brain is just not working anymore. You got to do that before you're 25. It just doesn't hang.
I guess some basic things might be all right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well,
you
awesome.
can still learn.
I know it. Do you speak any other languages, or
No,
just Spanish and English, right?
Yeah.
Spanglish?
Yeah,
Is that
and
what you said?
Spanglish. Yeah, we can mix it up together.
Exactly. Right. Oh. So where'd you grew up in Salinas?
I did.
Yeah. Where'd you go to school?
So I went to, after high school, I went to UC Davis to study biology. That's over by Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
I was there for about 5 years, I think. It took me 5 years to go through my bachelor's. I was working at the same time.
Of course.
Yeah, so I don't think I was taking full-time courses the entire time. But not too bad. 5 years is, average.
Yeah.
And then after that, I came back home. And you know what? Speaking of teaching, I didn't want to be a teacher. That wasn't I didn't have that. I didn't say to myself, yeah, this is what my career was.
Right.
I wanted to just be a scientist and work in a lab or something.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So I graduated, came back home, and I started substitute teaching.
Right.
And in the substitute teaching, the principal at the school where I was at was like, you need to be a teacher. I'm like, really? I don't know, But apparently she saw something in me. She's like, you're really good with the students. And, they listen to you. And I'm like, all right. So I thought about that. I went back to UC Davis and worked at a lab for a couple years.
Yeah.
And then she called me. And she's like, we need a science teacher. I'm like, all right.
All right.
Okay.
You need a substitute?
No more substituting. She called me up to give me a job. And so she's like, just try it out. Let's see if you like it. Okay. So then, I liked it.
Yeah.
And then the principal said, okay, I need you to go back to school, get your credential, and then come back.
Oh, okay. Right.
So she hired me for a year. But we can't really teach without a credential. So it was during the time when I could have taught for a year. That was 2000s. And she's like, but now I need you to go back. And all right, fine, So she kind of led me down that path.
Right.
So I went to Cal Poly, to San Luis Obispo.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I liked it over there. Have you been over there?
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. I didn't want to leave. I was there for 1 year to do that credential program. Oh my gosh, I loved it.
It's perfect. It's not too far south, and
not
around
perfect.
Plastic people.
The weather was nice.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I lived by the beach.
Right.
It was amazing.
Did you really?
Yes, it was so nice. And then I came back
right.
to Salinas. I'm like, oh man.
Dang it.
It's a different world though, but
I mean, as long as I've known you, it's like you are just like the perfect teacher. It's like even if you're rattled, you would never be able to tell. It looks like you could go through anything with these kids and help them work through it.
Oh.
And not show, you're just not rattled. They can't shake you.
No.
It looks like.
No, I'm a pretty calm person.
Pretty calm. Right.
Yeah.
No matter what you say, it's just like, all right, we're going to work through this
yes.
one way or another.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess that, I have that naturally in me. Which
Sure.
I think this is why the principal was like, you need to be a teacher.
That's what I was thinking when you said that. It's like, I got that same vibe, especially as a student walking in and go, oh, I'm not getting away with anything with this one.
Yeah, that is true.
I bet.
To be a good teacher, you have to be strict and stern, but at the same time, be able to teach them and earn their respect. That is very important. That I didn't say that earlier, is that if they don't respect you, they're not gonna like you. You're not gonna teach them very well.
That's a great point.
Yeah. But if you earn their respect and they'll do things for you, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, because they want to. I guess it's kind of like they want to please you,
sure,
because they like you.
Yeah.
And so that's important.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Sure.
If one's going to be a teacher.
Yeah. You got to back them up.
Yes.
And finish their thoughts or.
Well, just treat them like a human, you know, not they're children,
guide
but
them, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes, guide them.
It's an important age.
Treat them like not an equal, but like a human. I think sometimes people talk down to children, but they really have a lot to say. They just keep it inside a lot. and if it's a bad situation, then it might turn bad.
Yeah.
And then all of it comes out. But they're very inquisitive, even though they're, young, 11, 12, 13. They want to be heard just like anybody else.
Yeah. Do you go through a lot of tough situations with some of these kids? Do you work through that kind of thing, or can you you've been doing it for so long, you can see there's something wrong with Johnny. Something's going on or something, right? Do you have to kind of get in the middle of that, or just pass it on to somebody else, or just tell him you're supporting him? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
I think in the middle school level, at least where I'm teaching, I teach in the east side of Salinas, so these are Mexican-American students who come from families who are living in poverty, really. And so a lot of things go on, and sometimes that has, there's abuse in the home, or they need money, or with just different things.
Sure.
Some of them live on the streets, literally.
Yeah.
And come to school, or their parents are homeless. They live in cars. Not everybody, but I'm talking about like the
extremes.
The extremes. And again, once I find out this information, I can't. It's not my job to do anything other than. You got to be in school, and I understand what you're going through, but this is my class, and this is your class, and I'm still your teacher. You still got to do your work, even though I know you're living in a car. Like, okay, you kind of be a little bit more lenient on somebody like that.
Right.
You have to be, because poor kid is probably hungry or
why do they care about
sleepy.
Earthworms when they're when they're got to go home to a Chevrolet?
Yeah. So. Yeah, again, in those situations, if I'm the first one to find out about it, and they confide on me, which happens sometimes, then I go to their counselor, and the counselors, we have a team of counselors.
Sure.
Like, okay, you got to talk to so and so because they just told me whatever it is, and okay, and they take over doing their job, which is to meet with them and counsel them, and whatever needs to happen.
Yeah. Pass them on or get them to somebody that.
Who could help them out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they can't help them.
Yeah, that's got to be rough.
Well, yeah, it happens.
Yeah, sure.
It's unfortunate, but it happens.
But they're getting to school, so.
Yeah. I find that students like that, they have to come to school, that they like it because whatever situation they're in it's best to be at school.
That's a great point. That's great.
So they might not do well, but they're there.
They're fed. They're learning.
Yeah,
they're around
give
people
them food.
that care and love them as much as a teacher can.
As much there's a line, right?
Sure.
I can't fix their whole situation, but I could still be, how can I say, just still be an adult in their life that could, I don't know if they look up to me or look up to us. Maybe some of them do. But at least someone who could give them some structure and this is what's going to happen here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's what he said. I just need a soft landing pad somewhere.
Yes.
It's like, that's kind of,
yeah.
Just give them a little understanding. And,
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Wow, that's tough. That's tough, especially years and years of seeing that,
Yeah, every year there's somebody.
Right.
Something's going on. Yeah.
To keep track of it all. But you see a lot of younger siblings come in. Oh, you're Juan's older sister or younger sister.
Yes. Well, in fact, sometimes I forget their names. They're over the years, it's like you have 100 and some students every year. I can't remember all their names.
Oh, that's right.
But I do recognize faces.
Sure.
And so when I do get a younger brother or sister, then I'm like, I know you. And then eventually they're like, oh yeah, you were my brother's or my sister's teacher, and they really liked you. I'm like, oh, good, okay, good. I don't remember that name, but that's good.
As long as they went home talking good about me.
Yeah, exactly.
They might even ask to be in your class. I don't know if they can do that like they used to in the old days.
They can. I don't know if they do.
Yeah.
I know the parents do that. If the parents like me 1 year, and they usually do. Again,
Why wouldn't they?
Why would they? It's always like that. I do know some parents who have said, "Okay, can we tell the counselor to have my younger daughter or something?" Yeah, go ahead, tell the counselor to organize it, you know.
Yeah.
So I've had that a couple times.
Yeah. I've done that myself with my own kids.
Yeah.
You know, one of the
Well,
older.
yeah, if you like the teacher, why not?
Right. Or if I grew up with one of the teachers or something, it's like, you know, it's like we're friends. It's like, and they treat my kids like their family. And
yes.
They try to get them in there.
Yeah, that's important.
Know, that's really neat. Well, so long ago. My kids are in their 30s now.
Oh, wow.
School was so long ago.
Yeah. Well, now your grandkids.
Grandkids, right.
Yeah.
I got a 10-year-old. How old are they in 7th grade?
7th grade, they are 11, 12.
Yeah, right at that age.
Wow, 10-year-olds. So they're 6th grade, 5th grade maybe?
I would think, yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. Great kid.
Aww.
Full of wonder. Just got in trouble for passing a note. That's something.
What did the note say?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Oh, really?
It was like,
wait, did he write the note? Or did he pass
wrote the note and passed it to the principal's son.
Oh,
Whoops.
Interesting. Did he
And
know that it was the principal's son?
You're so-and-so, the
Oh.
politically incorrect word.
Okay.
It's like,
Oh, man.
whoops, how did that happen, you know? But
People make mistakes.
I know. It's like, really, of all the people to pass it to, son.
Did he learn something from that?
I don't know, but I'm sure his dad taught him a lesson or two.
Oh. Yeah.
So you never know as a parent what you're coming into and you get a phone call from the teacher.
Yeah, it could be good. It could be bad.
With the girls, it was probably good. The boys, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
They're a little wild.
Why is that?
I don't know.
It's the same thing in middle school, you know.
Is it? Yeah.
Their hormones are all over the place. And,
There's that too. Holy cow.
well, that, and, you know. And since I taught high school, it doesn't settle down until they're sophomores, more or less, you know, juniors, seniors.
Yeah.
Then you're good.
Right. That window from 7th and 8th. Boy crazy and all the stuff you have to do.
Or the boys trying to tackle each other.
Yeah,
Today I was like, guys, what are you doing? You know, they like to play fight. And they're like, we're just messing around. No, it doesn't look like you're messing around, but they were messing around.
They were, right.
They were.
Right.
Interesting.
I remember a guy like threw a chair at me one time in class.
What?
And it was
Wow, that's extreme.
That poor teacher, you know, was like, what do I do? We were massive guys, you know.
Was this high school?
No, it was 8th grade.
Okay,
7th
yeah.
grade, something like that. You know, we had something going on the outside, and he carried it into the classroom. And it was like, wow.
Oh,
They
he
dragged
still
all the
had
way
his
out into the
adrenaline
hallway,
going.
and and took a whole bunch of teachers to pull us apart. You know, it was like,
Wow.
And look back on that; those poor teachers, they're not getting paid to be
Breaking up fights.
right. That was crazy.
It happens, though.
Right.
I usually let everybody else get in first.
I know.
I'll control the crowd.
Well, I was on top of the guy. I know Mrs. Peganelli grabbed me by the back of the hair and pulled me off of him, you know. And it was like, she was a tough kid, tough lady, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's not her place to have to do that.
Well, we have to
That's
sometimes.
the age, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to run into that.
Yeah, we have to try.
Testosterone's firing, and right.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It rarely happens, but
Really?
you're like, oh, man, here we go.
I would think it would happen more.
Let's see. To try to break up a fight like that major, I don't know. Once
Not
a year?
really. Oh, really?
Yeah,
No
it's
kidding.
not too crazy.
Yeah. Nicer kids nowadays, man. Maybe.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They still respect you, but they're not as
Like physically
crazy.
charged.
Yeah, like we were. I don't know. You still got some, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely.
Right.
I think, unfortunately, I would say there's more girl fights than there are boy
Really?
fights. Yes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I can't
Which
even,
is crazy.
You just let them fight. I'm not getting in the middle of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend a male teacher separating them
Right,
because anyone could get accused of anything, right?
Oh, right.
So, yeah, we're careful about that.
I was thinking more like fingernails and there's like a cat fight going on. I'm not jumping in the middle of that.
Well, that's
Grabbing hair and like,
Yes.
right. Yeah, you can get accused of all kinds of stuff. You got to be careful nowadays.
Yes, that's the
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Got to be careful.
Like, I'm not jumping into that.
Yeah, and then the kids now they record with everything their cell
I
phone.
didn't think about
Everything
that.
gets recorded.
Everything is you're on YouTube in 10 minutes.
My God, or TikTok.
TikTok,
They
is
like
that
to
the
use
thing
TikTok. Oh my goodness,
now? I don't even have
Instagram.
TikTok, Instagram. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we find a lot of, later on the counselor's job or the principal, like, okay, who's involved with so and so or what's going on, and sometimes they're doing things other things they shouldn't be doing, and sometimes they're not very smart and they record these things, they put it out there, and eventually someone finds it, one of the adults. Okay, we have this video. Like, okay, it wasn't me. You're in the video.
Right.
Why did you post the video?
That's something we never had to deal with. How about that?
Yeah.
Remember when that first came out, the internet, and it's like people were. It was like a different kind of bullying or something.
It is.
Times 10 or something.
Yes, interesting that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
It's a big deal now. The students
Right.
who are being bullied on the internet, or just, these being, how can I say, peer pressure to have sexual type of pictures or,
Right,
whatever.
right.
It's, I don't know, it's strange to me, isn't it? It's just, they take it so like to heart if someone says something bad about them on social media, and more so than just when I was a kid I didn't think anything of things, but now they just take everything and it's so bad because it's out there, everybody sees it.
Well, that was the first commercial that they started playing where somebody took a Polaroid picture and they pinned it up on the cork board, and you're like, oh my God, and the girl pulled it down and it was there again. They pulled it down again and it was there again. It was like, you can't, once you post this stuff, it's up there forever.
That's interesting that you mentioned
I was
that.
like, oh wow, that's,
Yeah.
that hit me hard. I was like, these
Yes.
kids are putting stuff up there that
is there forever.
they won't be able to take down. Right.
That's why they take it so badly when they get bullied.
Right.
And we take it rather seriously,
Sure.
Yeah.
I haven't had too many bad reviews, but I know sometimes if I get a bad review, it hangs with me for months.
Oh, because everybody could see it.
Because everybody's looking at it and they can see it. It's like, I kind of get it. Can you imagine that
you're an
going
adult.
through like a
Imagine a
7-year-old or a
exactly.
7th grader? Oh my God, it'd be the end of the world.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah, it's bad.
Just gotta teach them, stop doing that. Don't put that up.
Yeah, I wish they had more rules around, cell phone use on campus and having the phones out.
Yeah.
They're just so used to having their phones, even the 7th graders.
Right.
A lot of them don't have phones, but high school students for sure have phones.
Oh, right.
And they're just on the phone all the time.
Well, it's just welded to their face.
Oh, yeah.
I was just in the Secretary of State, or the DMV, you call it here in California. And I had to sit there for an hour, and there was 3 or 4 ladies that did not move from this position the whole time. I was like, holy cow. Being a massage therapist, I'm looking at their head forward, their back is bent like a potato chip, and I want to go over there and go,
you want to fix them.
Right.
All right, lady.
Right. Look like she's 25. She's already bent like an old lady. Just because that's how she sits all day, looking at that phone. It's addiction, Nothing against her. It's, it's just what she grew up with. But.
Yes. Yeah. And then we have the students doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I didn't think about their posture, but maybe that should be my next thing to tell them, is about your posture.
Sure.
I think about their eyesight. I tell them about I'm a science teacher, so obviously I got to tell them about the eyesight and the light in their face the whole time.
Right.
And then I show them pictures of what's going to happen. They're going to basically get blind.
Sure. Well, forward head syndrome is a big thing right now.
What was that?
It's called forward head syndrome.
What is? Oh, wow.
It's just from maybe looking at the computer too much.
Uh-huh.
And it throws off the balance of your whole gait because your head's so heavy. Or they're sitting like this all day, and then when you look up, their neck is still bent that way.
Ooh, interesting.
And I was reading this study in my massage magazine, and they were saying that the brain doesn't work correctly when you're like that all the time.
Oh, wow.
Whether it's blood flow but it's just not operating correctly. These are shortening, the spine's starting to go forward.
Yeah.
So these kids are going to have some problems.
They are.
I always said that about music or whatever. Well, I'm going to be deaf but we're not deaf. So
No,
maybe we're just talking.
This is much worse.
Is it? Yeah, right.
Your posture's going to be off. You're going to be blind.
Exactly. And just the blood flowing through your brain, you're just going to have brain fog,
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's so much blood trying to
teach
get
them
through
about
here.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll post that article because it was. I'll send it to you too because that's a big thing with these kids. Show them physically this is going to hurt you. But I guess by the time they're 25, they'll be strapped to their goggles or there'll be a bottom line on their glasses.
Well, that's
something.
the next thing, right?
Yeah.
Carlos was telling me somebody was wearing, what do they call it? The virtual reality goggles or something like that.
Yeah.
And that they hurt themselves because they ran into something at the sofa. I don't know. They were in their home. They hurt themselves. And I'm just thinking to myself, what is happening? How?
Who runs when you can't see? I guess
see, your brain thinks that you're seeing. That's the problem. Or whatever you're doing.
I did see a clip of one girl. She came running out of a store in the mall, and she was just watching her phone the whole time. She went face first right into the fountain. It was like she's not even looking where she's going.
Exactly.
It's kind of scary.
Wow, that is scary.
Right. A little Asian girl. I think it was in Asia somewhere, but you just can't run like that when you're not even looking.
No, yeah, I don't understand. Right. I don't understand.
So what did Carlos say about the goggles? I saw one ad for him. Did he give you any details?
He didn't mention more than the accident.
Right.
Laughed about it. Of course.
Right. That sounds like him. Yep.
I mean, it's a serious thing, I guess, if you think about it. But
yeah,
that's I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. How long do teachers usually go? You got about 10 more years, or you're still a young lady, but you've been doing it for over 20, so.
Yeah, definitely. We, our financial consultants say not to retire until we're 59 and a half.
Okay.
Because that's when the state will give us our full retirement.
Okay.
We can retire before then, but they won't give us as much money, basically,
Right.
But I think about it. I think about retiring at 55. So, yes.
Most people are looking at 65, so that'd be great.
Oh, man, I can't know. I
65?
cannot imagine doing that. But I can't imagine myself. No way.
Yeah.
I want to, do other things.
I almost question whether she's doing that for a paycheck or just to keep purpose.
Well, yeah, maybe. I think it must be that.
Yeah.
Because our state is not going to pay us more beyond you working.
Oh, that's true. Good point.
I think beyond 62, they're not going to pay us more in terms of retirement.
But they won't mandatory let you go at 65. They let you just keep on going.
If somebody wants to keep teaching and they're
get
still
it.
healthy, I guess,
If they're willing to do it, suckers.
Yeah, no, I don't recommend that.
No, right.
But I don't know. I guess some people like that. That's okay. I don't see myself doing that. No, I'm 48, so I want to retire at 55 if I can.
You want to do something else?
No, I just want to.
Well, do absolutely nothing.
I want to. I want to just be able to take a walk when I feel like it, or work on my artwork, and I don't know, just do fun things.
Yeah.
I think the only work I might do is work in my garden and grow my food.
Sure. Got fruit trees or
whatever I could get my hands on.
Get my hands on lemon trees. Hell yeah. What kind of artwork are you doing?
I paint.
Do you?
Yeah, and I paint. I guess a little bit of mixed media, a more abstract type of work.
Computer art?
No.
Or what do you mean by abstract?
Abstract instead, for example, versus like drawing the cup as it's, what do they call it? Still life or something. I could do it if I felt like it, but then I start seeing other things,
Right.
So I'm like, ooh, the spirit of the cup. So I like, how about that? I draw the spirits of things.
Right.
Whatever it might be. If I'm looking at a plant, look beyond that.
Who's that artist? Salvador Dali.
There you go.
Just painted like the cup melting over the side.
There you go.
Right?
That I like.
Like you did with the clocks. Yeah.
That's the type of thing yeah.
Do you really? Like watercolors or what do you?
I could do watercolor, whatever. Whatever
Really?
I have my hands. I don't have a preference necessarily. I have a lot of Sharpies, like fine point Sharpies. So I start to draw with that and could shadow in a lot with the fine point Sharpie. So I like the pens, but I could, I work with watercolors and pencils, charcoal pencils. Anything. I just like, I could draw on that piece of cardboard. Okay, let me do something.
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
It's always blown me away. I love the oil painting. But sometimes I see people do watercolors and it's like, I don't know how you did that. That's just like, it always like bleeds together and it just
you gotta be real careful.
Fades and it's like, they'll make something that's watercolor. It's like, it looks lifelike. How'd you do that? That's crazy. That's, because I used to love watching, who was the Bob, do you remember the guy?
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross.
I love Bob Ross.
I loved Bob Ross when I was a kid. I watched him all the time. Another happy accident or a tree or something, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love Bob Ross.
In fact, I was just watching him a couple of days ago
Nice.
on YouTube or something, and it's just everything he does. It's like, that looks exactly like what that would look like.
Yes.
It's amazing.
And he just went at it for a couple seconds.
Yeah. Take the round brush and do this. It's like,
wow.
how'd you learn to do that?
Yeah, he had real good technique.
Was he? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I saw him do one and he started the whole canvas black. A night painting. And then he worked backwards from there and had the cabin in the background, the snow falling. And it was just all the way it all came together within 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, what? That would have taken me 5 days or
Still
more.
wouldn't have done that. Still couldn't got any close to that.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
Bob Ross. He's awesome.
That's great.
However, though, I think he pass away from like the basically the pollution of the, the fumes
actually,
from all
right.
the paints, and that's unfortunate. That's a bad thing about oil paints and, using whatever he was using, the fumes. They're really toxic.
Yeah.
Watercolors are not as toxic, so.
Still, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, it's just
pick your poison.
Exactly right. I'm thinking of Eddie Van Halen, who just always had a pick in his mouth and ended up dying of mouth cancer, and he thought it was because of something in the pick or the metal or something.
Oh,
it's like,
wow.
you just never know.
Possible?
I don't know. It wasn't the smoking at all, I'm sure, right?
No, it wasn't that.
No, or the 3 bottles of Jack Daniels. Must have been the picks.
It must have been the picks.
Well, the name of the show is What's Next? What's next for you?
What's next for me?
Yeah. Got something new coming on? You can write a book.
Write a book.
No.
No, I'm not into writing. Probably another piece of art.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Definitely.
Yeah. What
I like to draw. What do I want to draw next? I have a tree outside my house. I've been thinking about a portrait of my tree. It's huge.
Really?
Yeah, it's a massive tree.
Sure.
You've been to my house, right? It's huge.
Way back in the pandemic when or was it before that?
Probably before that.
Oh, it was before that because I had lost one place and I hadn't found this place yet.
What's next for me? Another piece of artwork, for sure.
Yeah. You going to stay at 7th grade for the whole till you retire, or?
You know what? I think so. I think
so.
I don't think I'd go back to the high school at this point. No. I wouldn't mind, but I wouldn't. I think I would prefer the middle schoolers.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're more my vibe.
Really?
Yeah. Some people are like, how can you do middle schoolers? Oh my gosh, because of their behavior, right? You got to round them up. Okay, but you kind of, I kind of like doing that.
I know,
all right, you guys, let's go.
I'd rather do that than high school. I can't imagine going to high school. Woo!
Well, in high school, it's a whole other thing. It's just.
It's a whole nother.
You're not rounding them up anymore,
Right.
Stop that. No, it's not like that anymore. It's more like trying to have them graduate or not. It's a whole other thing.
Right.
They're adults, basically, when they're seniors, juniors.
You know, I had a gal in here not too long ago, and she didn't do very well in school because of what's it called when you see everything backwards?
When you're reading?
Dyslexia.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So there's so many different things like dyslexia and that kind of thing that we didn't really handle very well in the 60s and 70s. Have you come full term? I mean, you know, there's more kids that are on the spectrum, or maybe basically or just a little bit on the spectrum, or are you seeing that mixed in? Or
Well,
I don't remember
know.
seeing that when I was a kid. You know?
I think now we do a better job, at least in California, to identify students who have disabilities.
Okay.
Regardless of what that might be, is physical or learning disability. And so they're placed on something called IEPs, individual education plans.
Okay.
And so they've got a team of people who, okay, you know, this person has dyslexia. All right, what do teachers do in the classroom to handle this type of thing? And so, okay, they inform us, and they inform, okay, so-and-so has dyslexia, so make sure that, you know, you're doing this for them, be aware of it, blah, blah, blah. You know, it just depends on what the disability is.
Yeah.
So they let us know, and there's paperwork, it's legal, you know, and we're supposed to provide supports for that student. And yeah.
So are you taught how to teach differently?
Well, in our training, you know, it's been such a long time now, but in our, to become, you know, certified as a teacher, we have to take classes on how to handle certain situations like that. But I mentioned that it's been so long because maybe, you know, we need a little bit more training on that. Things have changed since I went to school and learned about that. So, yeah, it makes me reflect on, okay, maybe a little refresher is nice.
Right. We have, I don't know, in the 70s there was a separate class, so that kids were like slightly retarded, or if they had Down syndrome, or, you know, something like that. But I don't ever remember spectrum, you know, the kids on the spectrum. Maybe they were there. Maybe I was one of them, and I didn't notice.
You didn't notice.
Right. So
we don't make it obvious. But we, at least at my school, we do have students who are severely disabled.
I see.
Who may not be able to talk, or you know, they're on a whole other level. So they do have a special class for them, and students with Down syndrome, you know. Yeah.
So they don't take them out of your class so much, or they
those students
integrate them in?
No, their disabilities are rather severe that they need a real special environment.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they're learning kindergarten type things,
Sure.
or maybe they're barely learning shapes, or it's very basic. So they have self-contained classes.
Yeah. I remember I had one of my daughters had problems reading, and they would pull her into like a special ed class, which just annihilated her. You know, her friends made fun of her, and it was just like, there's, you know, and she's an extremely bright child, but there was something about the reading, you know, but, you know, to separate her like that just sent her on another angle, you know what I mean? So it was like, it wasn't good, you know. So that always kind of kind of bothered me a little bit. What else are they going to do, though? You know, I don't know.
Well, if they got to help her with her reading in a different space.
Yeah. Maybe after school.
Yeah, that makes me think, because we do the same thing.
Do you?
You know? In our district, we do the same thing.
Yeah.
If students need extra help, they have an extra class, and they go there. You're making me think about those students and how they feel about that.
Right. Or how you name it.
Yeah.
You know, not a special ed class, maybe
yeah, no, definitely we don't call it
reading
that,
or something.
But still, advanced reading.
Right, that's exactly. Speed reading, we'll call it that. Just throw them off. Because kids are so brutal.
They are.
You know, so
they
try to protect them from each other, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? You got some animals? You got...
Chickens. My two chickens.
That's right. I forgot to ask you about your chicken coop.
My chicken coop, it's been raining a lot. Well, it's going to rain tomorrow, huh?
Yeah.
I got to go cover them. I have two chickens.
Do you?
I keep them for eggs.
Oh, right.
They don't lay right now because they lay eggs when there's more sunlight. And right now it's a little bit too dark. But
Didn't know there was a difference.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's how they lay. They need more natural light if you're going to keep them naturally. You know?
Sure.
So I think they'll start laying maybe, I don't know, February, March.
Yeah.
March.
God, you've had those for like 5-6 years now, huh?
Oh, well, I have a new batch of chickens.
Do you?
They're 3 years old.
Right.
They're big.
And you had some before that, or?
I did. I
Yeah.
had a couple, but they were older already, so they passed on.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Those were almost 20 years old.
What?
Yeah, chickens live for a long time.
20 years?
If you take care of them.
I thought they were like 6 tops or something.
Well,
20 years old.
That's when you kill them
Yeah,
and
right.
eat them.
Chickens around me don't last that long.
Yeah, or in the industry they might last that long, but it's
Yeah.
because they're being forced to lay, and
Oh, right.
their cycles are off. And
Hormones and all the stuff they're feeding.
but if you
and
take
everything.
care of them naturally, they'll live a long time.
So they're like the brown eggs?
I have Americana chickens, so they
Okay.
they lay blue eggs.
Really?
Like
cool.
a light blue greenish color.
Right. How cool.
Yeah, that's the breed.
I guess I have seen those.
Yeah.
In the store.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
probably
like a
have.
bluish type of egg. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, different chickens, different
Right.
colored eggs.
Right. So once you get your garden going, you grow all your food, you got chickens, and
Oh yeah,
just
I'm
need a
into
cow
it.
out back, and you'll be good to go.
Oh, I don't know about the cow. Remember, you got to
Old
clean
Bessie.
up their number twos.
Fertilizer for the
Oh,
garden.
okay, yeah,
Right,
but
just bury
still,
it.
keep
A
a
little
cow.
more fertilizer
Can
than
you
you need.
imagine? Maybe a goat. Make some cheese.
Right, there you go.
A small
Goat
animal.
cheese, goat butter.
Ooh.
And they won't mess up the yard too bad.
Well,
They'll
yeah,
eat
yeah.
everything.
They'll eat anything. They'll get on my tree.
Yeah, right.
The goats.
Yep. Well, my dear, so good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
This was fun.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Of
What
course.
a blast.
Yeah.
That was easy.
You're welcome.
Thanks for tuning in, you guys.